Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses. Greg Wolf and Andy Sterling. Greg, fresh, tan, rested, and ready after a big week at the beach.
South Beach, yeah, I got some sun, and amazing. You think it was great? I loved it there, but I'm glad to be back.
Good. Well, I'm glad to have you back.
Kids on the beach, there's a lot of work.
Yeah, I had to work last week because you were gone, so it was actually incredibly annoying for me. So it's good to have you back as well. And we've got an 8-race card today. I thought the cards this weekend very, very good. Looking forward to both today with a $15,000 carryover in the pick six, but tomorrow and Sunday, all strong cards. So what happens when you start getting back on the grass? We'll get right to work though. Head over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code bonus or Derby25, excuse me, and we'll match the $200 of your initial deposit and give you a free $25 bet in the Derby. Derby being drawn tomorrow between races 3 and 4 at Churchill Downs, 7 to 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Their first post time is 6 o'clock for their opening night card. Looking forward to seeing that new paddock, actually. I'll be there. Last year's paddock was like a mini golf course. It was it was intermediate.
They have a video out. I mean, it's just
looks
stunning.
amazing. Yeah,
I'm
looking forward to take a look at it. Track stats as well. Check them out at Naira Bets also. What else do we have? We have a plethora of things. $15,143. The Big Six carryover races 3 through 8 on today's card. We also have $25 bonus. Bet 75 or more on Aqueduct, Keeneland, and Oaklawn. Of course, we'll be showing Oaklawn on America's Day at the races. Just 5 or 6 more racing days. I don't know if they race the Sunday after the Derby. Not sure. I won't be here, so I don't have to worry about it. Can opt in over at Naira Bets for that contest. They're back. $300 buy-in. You have until the third race tomorrow, I believe, to sign up for that. Check that out. Go to nairabets.com/contest. I think you still have a little time today to sign up for the $40 feeder as well. I think until the third race today to sign up for that. If you want to check that out. And let's see what else we have. We cross-country Big 5. 3 Aqueducts, 2 Oaklawns, 6, 7, 8 here, 6, 8 at Oaklawn. America's Day at the races today will be on from 1 to 3, and then we'll be on from 4:30 to 5. So we'll be showing the first 3 and the 7th from Oaklawn, as well as our first 4 and the 7th from here when we come back.
Yes. So
Greg and I will be
double
there.
dose.
Yes, you'll have a little break to get over the excitement of the show. Race number 1, login required. We'll take a look at a race he finished first in, and I thought was rightfully disqualified for dramatically hurting the second-place finisher throughout the stretch, but nonetheless still ran a winning race. How much does it bother you that a horse that wins its maiden race, coming off a little bit of a freshening, just a couple of months, a maiden special, and then is dropped in for a $75,000 claiming race? How much does that bother you?
It's curious, isn't it? Because I mean,
surprising.
There's a couple of it's not just this race. There's another race going back that this horse is a standout against this group. But maybe thinking, well, it's start number 10 now, and feeling they're safe with the 75,000.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's a $9,000 purchase. And the truth is, as the maiden specials get tougher as we get later in the year, a 75 buyer is probably not going to win it. So I think they're just being realistic with the horse. If somebody wants to claim this horse for $75,000 and they should win the race, I think it's a pretty good win for them. A horse who's taken, a long time even to get there, even disqualified. Having said that, we both picked against. You went to Ray Handel off the claim with Venge.
I was really torn in here because I think, and I know I picked the horse third, Badge of War I thought was interesting, but Verge I just think has a chance to get to the front of this spot. That upside potential race, actually upside potential came out of that race. Improved one again for 50,000 starter allowance, improving 2 buyer points with the 74 buyers. Linda claiming off at Chad. Lucency, who this horse competed against, was second, beat a nose in an open N1X.
Competed would be a very loose word to use. Did lose by 32 lengths. So I don't want to pretend that they were competing down to the wire.
No, that's fair.
I think this horse is very
dangerous. But the horse was on the
claim.
lead against that group, and I think that's where this horse is going to be today. And with that equipment change, we'll be able to relax and stay on that lead longer and finish today.
No, I have this horse third, and absolutely so the same things as you. I took another horse off the claim. I mean, Have You Heard was running fast figures earlier in his career and then kind of fell apart. Both of those muddy seal tracks, but the horse had run well on a muddy seal track before that. But claimed for 75, Jordan Wyckoff and Mike Maker. And I just took a shot this horse could get back to the better races. The better races are good enough to win. So I'm hoping this horse off the claim. I like the 2 claim horses like you. One of them you like, one I take. And Logan Required's obviously the logical horse. Quickly, what is your thing with the 1 who's got to improve immeasurably to be competitive here? Claim from David Jacobson.
The horse did stumble a little bit. It was the dirt debut, and it was off, not a really long lap, but it was off a fairly long lap. I think we'll see improvement second time out, moving to the Dutrow barn, even though it was Jacobs into Dutrow. But I think with a cleaner brake, this horse could be more effective.
All right, see what happens. Should be forward here with a cleaner brake. Race number 2. It's funny, race number 2, we'll look at Barksdale.
You a Wire fan?
Wire? No,
The Wire?
I haven't watched it, which is embarrassing because Homicide: Life in the Streets was my favorite network show other than West Wing.
Avon Barksdale was the leader of the drug syndicate.
Well, I think my friend Nick Tamaro makes the morning line at Keeneland needed some drugs after this race. Now, to be fair, he made the horse 15-1, but he said to me the 3-1 favorite was scratched, so he would have made the horse around 10-1. I don't know how you could possibly imagine this horse was going to be 8-5, even though he had some trips in his races. Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Are we going to see it again? I think there's a chance that this horse was very much aided by a track that was very kind to speed on the inside.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I picked the horse. I totally agree with you. This horse is very suspect to me. It was such a massive leap forward that it screams red flag. I copped out.
You love one-number horses. That's your thing.
What's that?
Greg, one-number horse, Wolf.
I don't like these horses, but
I was surprised you picked this horse.
I very low trustworthiness with Barksdale.
I wonder if he'll be favored because I think the horse that should be favored is the horse I have on top, and we'll take a look here, and that's Stolen Magic. And this was Stolen Magic's maiden win at 6 furlongs. And I believe very strongly if he were to run this race that he would win. And you look at him after that. Okay, they ran him on a muddy sealed track in the Jimmy Wingfield. He didn't handle it at all. And then he was on a dead rail, in my opinion, last time out, trying to close up on the inside, which compromised him. He draws well on the outside. I think Stolen Magic is going to win this race, and I'll be very surprised if he doesn't win.
And he didn't break great last time either. And even, the figure he had when he broke his maiden
He did break slow, yeah.
was not that far off that monster effort from Barksdale.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I really like this horse. I understand Barksdale ran big last time. I think the question mark in this race, the horse we both have second, Air Cav, because he is getting some considerable class relief in here. I thought he was actually pretty good going in the Wingfield. Well, that was a dopey opinion, but then he had no shot in the Gotham. He's at least finally in a reasonable spot.
Yeah, and he's going to get back to he's only had a fast track once in his debut. He's got wet tracks every time since. He's faced
that
way better company.
That debut is better than it looks. That's better than that 64 Beyer looks.
The debut?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't think his Champagne was that bad. But I'm all about the 6, Stolen Magic. We'll see what happens with Barksdale. Race number 3. And the pick 6 kicks off here with a very, very well done. That's very fancy. I'm very impressed by that. Okay, this race, it's all about Daddy Knows here. And why do you think that, we'll take a look at Daddy Knows' last race, why do you think Durkin's Call is going to beat him here? I didn't think Durkin's Call did any running last time whatsoever. I am so sick of this horse.
You didn't think he did any running?
He was picking up pieces on a wicked pace where everybody that was chasing Daddy Knows just totally fell apart. I don't like this horse. I'm so sick of this horse. Okay. This horse wins, I would lose the pick 6, I'd lose the pick 5, I'd lose the pick 4, I'd lose pick 3s, I'd lose doubles, I'd lose show bets. I hate this horse.
How about one backup wager?
No, I hate this horse.
The beginning of this race, it was very dramatic how poorly he broke.
But he does it a lot.
But it was horrible. And he made a massive extended move, I thought, to get up there. And probably that's going to be his MO. He's going to get there and come up just short again. But I thought he put in a very big move in that race. And I think with a little bit better break, he's going to be a major player. And for me, Daddy Knows, he has put in a lot of work already this year. It's going to be his 6th start of the year. And he's coming back now off, 14 days? Not even, 12 days rest again? Start number 6 of the year?
He's
a
kind
heavy
of
workload.
He's kind of a cinch on paper, though, based on his races. And Kay Davis knows this horse as well as anybody. And she knows one thing about him. He hates being inside of horses. But he is faster than this field early.
Yeah.
So you have to imagine that Katie is going to come out riding this horse and just try to drift him out into the 5 or 6 path so that nobody can get outside of him, because this horse does not want to be near the rail. Now, if he breaks a step slow, if somebody goes on a mission, he'll start having a temper tantrum and finish nowhere in here. He is a very, very hard horse to trust. But he's also way the horse to beat in this race.
Yeah, no,
way.
I agree.
And he is faster than these horses early. So it's really Katie's got to come out and get the position, and she knows this horse well. I can't pick him in here. So the question is where else to go. Now, obviously, one place to go is the drop down off the claim on Funkenstein. My problem with Funkenstein is that everybody likes this horse. He's the clear other horse leaving out Turkin's Call, who I wouldn't bet in a million years. And I'll tell you something. I don't like horses claimed from David Jacobson. And why is Rudy supposed to claim him drops for 10,000 off an abysmal effort? Do we have any confidence that Funkenstein can run at all anymore? What are you looking at?
But you have Hang Tight on top.
I know. I'm discussing Funkenstein, though. A horse that we both have in there.
Okay.
I like to build dramatically up to my... Okay, Hang Tight. I don't love Hang Tight in here. I struggled with this race, but I did not want to pick Dinos on top. I didn't want to pick Funkenstein on top. I don't like your 10. If he wins, I tip my hat to you. The one thing I'll say about Hang Tough is he's dropping. Last time he ran in a $10,000 claiming race, he ran a respectable third. He ran a race that gives him a chance in here. I think if you're going to beat the two, this race has a chance to fall apart a little bit. I don't like the bottom horse. He's not a winning type.
So let me just say, even if Durkin's Call breaks worse than he did last time, this horse is going to be much further behind him, isn't he?
He's going to be behind him, yeah. I don't care.
I mean, he's going to be another
Durkin's
zip
Call
code.
does not win. Okay. He is unable to seal the deal. He last won, I think I had an afro. That's how much hair I had. I mean, he's ridiculous. Because you can say what you did about last time, which is fine, but he also got this wicked pace to pick up the piece.
Yeah,
what was his excuse the time before that? I idiotically picked him two back. I mean, he's had a number of races. I mean, in that race two back, he made a move around the turn like he looked like he was going to be there, and he just had like flattened out completely in the stretch. So maybe, frankly, he's better off sitting way back and making one big run. Maybe getting left almost helped him in an odd way.
It may have, because he used to actually have some ability to go more forward.
Yeah, I just feel like the clock has struck 12 on him, and I don't want any part of it.
Real quick before we get on the show today, because it's going to bother me on the show, can we call him Funkenstein?
Why is it not Funkenstein? Frankenstein? Frankenstein?
Spider-Man.
But according to Young Frankenstein, it's Victor Frankenstein. What does he call himself?
We can go with that.
What does he call himself in it? Frankenstein.
I'm happy with that.
Somehow I got into a thing with what's his name? Marty Feldman. Must have been his birthday or something. And I started watching old clips of Marty Feldman, that great scene in Young Frankenstein when he says, Abby somebody, what was the name of the person, the brain, Abby somebody? Those are the greatest movies ever. I saw that movie. There used to be, which some people will remember, a great theater on Columbus Circle, the Paramount Theater. It was across where the shops are from the Time Warner Center. Okay. It's where Jean-Georges is in that building. It was the Paramount. It was the Golf and Western building. And there was a big round theater. You went around, you went down the spiral staircase going downstairs to it. And I saw Young Frankenstein there with my grandmother back in the 70s. A great movie. And it was released, is it possible it was the same year as Blazing Saddles?
Ooh, I don't know.
I saw something very close. Anyway.
And you topped it off with Dinner at Jean-Georges?
I don't know if Vic von Gerstein had been born yet. It was like mid-70s, You've been to John? I like Nougatine. I like Nougatine. It's a little cheaper and not as dressy. All right, race number 4 kicks off the late pick 5. What are we doing in race 4? Okay, big scratch here, Mystic Knight. Dangerous Ride, the horse you have on top and I have second. We'll go to him. He was entered and scratched out of a $50,000 claiming race here. I do think he's the horse to beat. How worried about the mile are you?
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I mean, he's been effective at 7/8 before. I just think that, especially with Mystic Knight coming out, and I still think he would have been the lead anyway. But now I think his lead gets even a little bit easier. Coming out of an allowance optional 62 race, and he's been, by the way, King's Barnes won that race. He's faced Caramel Chip. King Cab, who was second in that race, has some big efforts. You can go back. He's faced a lot better company, and he's been consistent. His last 4 races, he's run figures against better company that if he can just stay the course, it's going to make him very dangerous in here.
I completely agree with you. I agree. I think he's the horse to beat in here. I worry about him getting the mile. That was why I couldn't pick him on top.
Okay.
And I also don't love the fact that he was entered for 50,000. He's running for 50,000. I'm looking this up. They both were 1974, Young Frankenstein.
Where were they?
That's like some two movies
call.
to come out the same year. I only knew it because I recently saw some list of like the top money-making movies or something.
They're in there?
Either it was that or it was something, and they were both listed. Or maybe it was comedies or something, or maybe it was their time or whatever. Anyway, I don't know what it was. I just worry a little about the mile, and I didn't want to put him on top. I have absolutely no argument with him. I have no argument at all about the money, who I think is dangerous in here. He obviously shot dangerous. A mile and 3/8 last time. Yeah,
that last race, complete throwout for him. And the race prior, Gentleman Joe He was second beat a nose for 40 before that. He faced American Law, whose form has been incredible. I mean,
Yeah, I think he's super logical.
Yeah.
My feeling was, I know Colloquy ran well last time. I don't trust that horse off the claim. I didn't want the horses out of the Mystic Knight race, First Glimpse and Dundarian. They're not impossible. To be honest with you, I won't be surprised by a lot of results in here. I found this race to be very, very difficult. Boss making boss moves. I don't know that he's good enough. I'm not convinced that he is. But if the speed starts to falter of the 7, it starts to bring the race back. Last time he ran that big speed track in the 30th, so he had absolutely no shot that day. I know he was with the flow of the track 2 back, but he still ran a respectable race. He's got respectable back races, and I thought he'd be a fair enough price. And it was more like, I didn't really want the 1. I didn't want the 3, 4, and 5. I didn't trust the 7 the distance. And do you really think the 8 is going to be 8 to 1? I thought the 8 could be second choice.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
First of all, well, I imagine Mystic Knight was one of the favorites that he scratched.
Was 3 to 1, yeah.
Right, so he's got
But
him
even
6
with
to,
that,
6 to 1. I thought he could be second choice in here. I'm not sure he's not supposed to be second
well,
choice.
to me, I struggled because I originally was going to put him on top. Last minute, I changed when Mystic Knight came out. He has 2 of the best figures of anybody in this race. The last 4 starts, 2 of his best efforts beat this field pretty easily.
And one of them is one of his last 4 starts a complete throwout, the 1 3/8 race.
Exactly.
Where he had no chance, and it was a big speed track. We'll see what happens. It's the first 4, plenty of turf racing when we come back after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We are back. Greg Wolf and Andy Serling.
I feel underdressed.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's some pretty great stuff happening. You don't know, but we know. Race number 5 at 1 1/16 got a little bit changed. We'll get to that, how it changed. But I want to start by talking, because I have the order of the replays.
Are they missing some letters with the 6? Should be growing concern, or is it supposed to be
Going concern. Going concern is it's a sting.
It is?
Yeah, I'll read you what it
I
writes.
believe you.
You're questioning Seth?
Thought it was a mistake by the jockey.
He has one horse's name that I do question. I've had multiple arguments with him about the name, but I don't think going concern is a phrase. We'll take a look at his last race. I'll tell you something funny about this race. Chad Brown told me, I told Gallardo one thing. Don't go inside. Now, to be fair.
Should have cost him the race.
To be fair, this is a pretty good ride. I mean, he cut the corner pretty well. He tried to get outside here, and he couldn't, so he had to go inside. And he was in a little bit of trouble there, but it was funny that Chad told me that story that I told him not.
And had a slow start.
Yes, he's pretty good, this horse.
No, it was a first-time starter he beat.
Yeah, but wasn't it was it Christophe or no? It was a horse. Actually, it was a horse with pedigree.
And you're facing multiple winners in this field.
I'm looking up going concern. It's like a thing. What is the meaning of going concern? A business is financially stable and can operate with the expectation of indefinite existence. Sort of fits in with the
I've never heard
naming.
of that before.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's what happens when you question. I know this horse is going to be a short price, and this is a much, much more experienced, better field. But the one thing I'll say is, what are the horses in this race? There's only one horse particularly that has upside in this race that you've left out. Aren't the rest of them horses that we kind of know who they are? I have your pick as my third video, so we're going to get there.
Okay.
That's my feeling, that there's upside, and I thought it was an impressive win. They really liked the horse first time. I'm surprised you have no Authorize, who
the
second dam was a
stakes
very
placed on
good
the grass.
turf horse. Doesn't this horse have the look? But, David Argona told me, I didn't look the stat up, he found this stat on Mott that I'm going to try to get this basically right. I didn't look it up, and I apologize. You guys can look it up. Look at it. Where non-maidens, first time on the grass, Bill Mott is 0 for 40 with only 4 hitting the board.
Really?
How's that possible?
Wish I could have used that as my reasoning not to include this horse. I did not know
You can
that.
lie now. See, you blew that was your chance. You could have said, well, that's why I didn't pick him. You really? I mean, you're an actor. Do you know the Greg's in Zodiac, by the way?
I'm a terrible liar.
By the way, I love the movie Zodiac. I stayed up for an hour and a half of that movie to see you. You weren't in just yet, and I must have fallen asleep. I'll get there. It's a good movie.
It was great. Yeah. Scene with
One movie and you
with
work with-
Robert Downey Jr.
And you work with David Fincher.
Yes, I actually sat in the director chairs, sitting, talking to him.
Really?
Because he actually is from where I grew up. But just the detail of that movie, just to give you a real
Great
quick.
movie.
They had pens. The pens they used in that movie were from the era.
Really?
Just down to that amount of detail. It's incredible.
The movie about the Zodiac Killer with Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo plays the Dirty Harry character. He plays the real Dirty Harry, the
Yeah.
character that Dirty Harry was based on, actually. And Jake Gyllenhaal. I love that movie. A great movie. Anyway, that's why I've authorized. So the logical dirt horses in here are the 11 Sam Burrow. We'll take a look at his last race. Listen, he lost to Whisper Not last time. Whisper Not would probably be a pretty big favorite here, wouldn't he?
He would, and he's going to control on the front end, isn't this horse?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do we really think that the pace record has the 12 in front of him? Now, whether or not he's the speed, I don't know. What do we think? Pace record doesn't have the 11 close, if you're interested. So I'm not saying
I'm
he'll.
not going to buy that.
But
This horse has turf sprint speed. Samburu. There's no question to me the 11's
Kendrick has to go. I don't agree with the pace projector either. I do not see this horse sitting mid-back without a bad break. As far as your horse, Ruse, he showed a different dimension last time. But if you're betting on him, we'll take a look at his last race. Do you really want Ruiz being clever with him? Don't you want him just going? Because this is a horse that
he's been
at one time in
effective.
his life was much better on the front end. And do you really want an apprentice to have to get cute?
Yeah, I mean, he was good when he was good too. He was forward. He was on the front end, sprinting even. The horse who wins this race, the last 3 starts, all competitive against allowance optional 62.8. He had a
agree.
win, obviously. He had a third beat a length and a half, second beat a half length. All buyers, 89 buyer, 94, 95.
The problem is the second horse sucks. Excuse me.
Graded takes place on the grass. Won an allowance optional claimer a couple of years ago at Santa Anita. I know it's not the same horse.
His
but
recent form had not been good. That worried
he
me.
was 4th at a grade 3 not too long ago.
I think this horse is super dangerous. My only problem with Roos, and I'm a Roos lover, he doesn't really win very often. That's my
totally
worry
fair,
about him.
yeah.
He doesn't, and I bet him a lot of times. I think he's a really good horse, and I absolutely think he's a major player in here. And I just feel from that post, they better be forward here. And there's nothing wrong with that. They've got to go forward, because if he doesn't go forward, God only knows what kind of trip he's going to get.
I mean, he was a lot further back, even than 2 starts back. He does not need to be that far back. But
No.
I agree with you. They got to be more aggressive.
He's
with
got
him.
to be more aggressive. I'm going to go in a slightly different direction, but I do agree. I'm going to use him. I would never let that horse beat me in here. It's a good race. It's a fun race. I mean, there is So High in there, and nobody picks So High, and so I don't get to make my So High jokes, but he does have races fast enough to win here.
Oh, no question. No question.
This is
going to
what-
wear a cheek piece again, by the way.
This horse that Beyer picked on September 2nd.
How many winners did he have that day?
No, this was the year after. This was not the big
okay.
year. I think between the two of us, we probably took the collar. I don't think we did anything too impressive that day. We didn't take the collar, but we didn't do it too impressive. No, that's when I asked him how high he was when he picked the horse. Race number 6. It's legal now. You missed 420.
I know my high school invented that term. So,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah. How are you not
Proud
a
for
deadhead? If not, because it's even got like a Grateful Dead tie to it.
I was not part of that crowd. I was scared. Stay away from those people.
Really? They're all
Yeah.
in San Rafael. I mean, it's where the office is, right? Anyway, race number 6.
I love them now,
What's not to love? Race number 6.
The great Instamatic is back.
He is. We're going to show his replay second. But Art of Courage. I can't believe he's the one you talk about first. This is your horse, Greg. This was the pick 5 that Greg almost hit for $100,000 because Olympic Dreams was the race before, right?
27-1.
Olympic Dreams the race before
Lost money,
Greg
knows to
had,
bank it.
and then he had this horse, and you were still alive for a lot of money with
Yeah.
him. This was some effort by this horse because this race completely fell apart, just totally incinerated. I thought this horse ran huge. The only problem is, where has he been since May? That concerns me. But I'll tell you one thing, he runs back to this race, this field's in trouble.
I agree. I think he's the horse to beat. I do. I have him second.
It's a question of how you feel about the layoff and how concerned you are. Because if he's able to run that race, he's going to be very tough in here.
Yeah. He's going to control in the front end too.
You would think he's fast. I mean, he breaks, he's fast. Instamatic will show his last race. I got to tell you something. And by the way, Paddock Prince is in Sunday in the last race, a very good turf race Sunday. It's so great to have turf racing back.
Oh, the horse who beat this horse last time.
No. This is Instamatic.
No,
Yes, the horse who beat Instamatic. Yes, he was a
Paddock
Christophe
Pastor.
Clement horse that ran remarkably well to win. I wonder if he's better sprinting. Doesn't it bother you that even as a 2-year-old he was burning money?
And I mean, there was so much hype about this horse, and Danny Gargan talked him up a lot, and he obviously had to have ability. He's been heavily favored every single time out. But even his best figure, I mean, Art of Courage's numbers I look at was just as good as that, and he has more upside potential to me.
Well, I think there's more upside potential to 1 because he was a 2-year-old running those races, wasn't he?
Oh, you're right.
So
That's
I
true.
do
That's
think he
true.
has more room
That's
to move
true.
forward, and I do think he can win. I'm just not thrilled with him. Hey, Jimmy Bond's horse, Mazai, has got a ton of pedigree. The Factor's good turf. Way Smart was a good turf horse. The Second Dam was a very good turf horse. There's plenty of pedigree. Charles J., who I have 4th, though, he is interesting. Go ahead.
So this horse, only turf start. It was first time out at Laurel going a mile, and it was against winners. It was allowance optional 62. He was a maiden going against winners. The winner of that race would later win the Dania Beach, would be third in
He's
the
pretty good, that
Grade
horse.
3 Kitten's Joy. The horse who was second in their Massif coming into that race was already stakes placed.
He improved his buyer figure 4 points coming out of that race.
The rail was way out that day. He had the far outside post. There is a ton to like about this horse.
I agree. I worry that 6 furlongs might be a little short for him. I was wondering a little if this was a bit of a prep. Not that he can't win, but I was worried a little bit that this might be a race.
Just to give him a race.
Kind of using him, not necessarily give him a race, but just to get him indication for more distance. That's the one thing that worried me. I have no argument with any of that. Anybody else we need to talk about? How are we doing for time? We should go. We got to.
Okay.
Greg and I have to actually go on TV and really work after having fun here. Race number 7. So I think you have to start the conversation with quick to accuse. And this was the one where we all thought the race time was wrong because it has him coming home in 34 and change after the half mile. And David Aragona timed it afterwards, and I think Craig timed it. The time is right. We'll take a look at quick to accuse last race. Do you feel if he runs back to this race, he's going to win here? I do, but I don't trust him to do it.
Yeah, I don't trust him to do it. And his figure just was not as fast and some of the other, thoroughgraph-wise, is not as big. But he could definitely, if he moves forward off this, he's going to be very tough. I think that Lock and Key that race was sensational to me last time out when he got beat by Donegal Surges.
I think he's in tremendous form, Lock and Key. We're actually going to go look
moving
at
forward each and every start, too. It's not some big race and he bounces or doesn't follow it up. He's continuing to progress.
I agree. We'll take a look at that race. I think this is his last race. The one thing I'll say about him is, how do you feel about him at the mile? Do you feel that he is a closing sprinter type that might be a little better with a little less distance? That's the one thing I worry about. I think he and Quick to Accuse are way the horses to beat.
But,
I just have a goofy idea that I'm going to.
One of his best race last time out was at 7/8.
Yeah, but now it's a mile.
Yeah.
You could argue he didn't really finish. Now, what I would say about his race 2-3 back is maybe he just, that race was dominating the front end, but he did get passed by Amadeus Music. I worry a little bit that he's not as good as a mile. Now, it's fair to worry that my horse, Don't Lose Cruise, is not great a mile either. But I'm going to tell you something. The clearly handsomer Mirage, Raj is very upset because his cousin is exposed, how much better looking he is than Raj. He's been joking about it on TV. If you haven't been watching our show, then we don't care. I just want to see Romero just send this horse and try to bottom the field.
He is. I've loved this horse
He's
for a long
quick.
time. He is so quick. I don't think he can handle a mile.
I don't think he's getting the mile and beating these either, but he's going to be a big price. He's going to be in front, and I'll use him with the 2 favorites. And he's my one idea to try to get a price. I'm a little worried. You've got Clever forever there. He really better improve to
That's the
here.
thing with me. For him today, I think he does improve. He's put together back-to-back efforts where he's paired up the same number, and as a 4-year-old now, primed to make that next step. If he can improve just a little bit off that, he's right in the mix. And actually, I mean, those numbers were not far off Quick to Accuse last time out, thoroughgraph-wise.
Yeah, I want to see it. We'll see. I don't know. Timeform liked his race a lot more than Bayer did. Bar 14, by the way, his big race last time, was on a big speed track. Race number 8. Start by taking a look at Short Shift, who we both have second in here, and this is the turf race when finishing 4th, the snowy evening. I wasn't sure what to make of this race. Kind of broke well and was taken back, swung very wide in here. Was he really running at the end, or was the race sort of collapsing?
Saratoga was second in here, who we saw just finish over 14 yesterday.
Well, actually ran pretty well at
Did
20-something
run,
to
yeah.
1. Kevin Bond's second or third starter. I thought this race was collapsing at the end. Thank God Saretta held on for a second.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I still think she's the horse to beat.
They're better horses. I mean, Snowy Evening got good after that race, her return notwithstanding. I don't have a big argument against this horse. I don't know. I wonder about the mile, the extra. I think that she's okay, but she's no big standout here. Greg is going to try to break the bank with, I got to tell you, we do have some crazy picks on Talking Horses on occasion. This could be a Hall of Fame crazy pick.
Really? I
Richard
don't love the
Metivier,
10.
With the 8, please enlighten us. This horse is going to be 40 to 1.
Okay, we had a 41 shot win yesterday.
I'm rooting for you, Greg. Go ahead.
So the Dam's only win came on synthetic, but synth can translate to turf a little bit.
She was 0 for 2 in the turf. She's running 79 Bayer, to be fair.
It's the first foal to try the grass.
True.
The second Dam actually started 2 for 2 on the turf.
Correct.
Was second to the Grade 3 Sands Point.
Ran a 92
so
Bayer.
risk-averse.
Ran a 92 Bayer.
Yeah. Was 5th in the Grade 1 Garden City, beat only 2 3/4 lengths to Wonder Again. There's definitely some pedigree.
You're a man who made $40,000+ with Shananowski in a turf maiden race, so who am I to argue with you?
And it has to be better, I think, on this surface than what the horse showed in that debut. I'm obviously taking a shot, but a little bit of it was as well. The 10, I don't love.
I don't like
has
this
already
horse.
shown us a couple of, got beat by a 99 to 1 shot, who, by the way, is my Game of Soaks horse, Bertrill.
Oh, really? I didn't know. We'll take a look at that race. I have this horse third, a little bit naughty, because obviously there's upside going from 2 to 3. But I agree. I'm not sure this horse is very good.
Dam produced, obviously, Real Solution, the Grade 1 Manhattan winner, but we should have seen
Yeah.
that take effect by now, shouldn't we?
This ain't no Real Solution.
No.
Oscar Performance, who we love dearly. I agree. I don't think this horse is very good. Now, he wasn't even been bet that heavily in her races, excuse me. She can win. I won't be surprised if she does. I kind of wanted to throw in a CC, who didn't get the best of trips, I should say, in her debut back in November. So maybe she can run better. But I'm going to take a little bit of a shot with Tossed on the outside, whose Dam ran 6 from you've got her in there. Ran 6 times the turf, 3 wins, 2 seconds. Ran 80 Bayers. Has produced a very nice turf horse. Ran 96 Bayer, 2 for 2 on the turf. Forced the pass. Was a horse for these connections.
Grade 1 winner, yeah.
Won the Belmont Derby. I still haven't figured out how, but he did win the Belmont Derby. I don't think he ever came close to duplicating that performance, but I just thought there was some pedigree, and I went to them, a kind of a sharp outfit, so I went there. This is a fun race to close it out.
Yeah, Dam produced stakes-winning sprinter on the grass, Grooms All Business.
Yep.
And even the second Dam was good, but on dirt, Cat Chat.
Yes. It was a nice dirt horse. Sprinter, right? She ran, I feel like she may have run like the Prioress and test races, things like that.
Yeah, believes. I don't know about the test, but at the
Prioress, yeah, sounds right. All right, Greg, thank you. We are heading upstairs, where we will be on America's Day at the Races from 1 to 3 and then 4:30 to 5. You will be busy at Naira Bets. If you haven't gone there yet, go there now. Sign up, use the promo code Derby25. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit and give you a free $25 Derby bet.
Did you ever Derby horse yet?
I do. I was going to make certain picks. I've changed them. I'm going to wait to the post to see if there any change because too many people seem to be liking the horse I was going to put on top that I was hoping to get a better price on. Okay. So I've moved my second choice as my top choice. Track stats, check them out at NYRABets.com. Headed over to Pick Fix Carryover, $15,143, races 3 through 8. Also, we have a bonus, $75 or more at Aqueduct, Keeneland, and Oaklawn. Closing day at Keeneland. Warlike Goddess is scratched later from the Bewitch.
Oh, okay.
She is. I was hoping she scratched to run in the Man of War, which we close tomorrow, but I'm skeptical that's the case. What else do we have? Aqueduct Collins. You've got till. Actually, you still have a little time to like the third race to sign up for the $40 feeder contest today. Otherwise, you'll have to the third race tomorrow. They're back, the $300 contest on Saturday. Got to play them through NYRA Bets. Go over to NYRABets.com/contest for more information. Very excited to have the contest back. Still am mesmerized by what's going on in that TV over there. Greg, I expect, if Acacia's watching, I expect to see that tomorrow.
Gauntlet thrown down.
Yeah, there's going to be some jealousy here. Cross country, Big 5, 2, 3 at Aqueduct, 6, 7, and 8, and 2 at Oaklawn as well. All those be on America's Day at the Races. Once again, not all of them, but some of them. 1 to 3 on FS2, and then 4:30 to 5. We'll have races 1 through 4 here and race 7, and we'll have 1 through 3 and 7 from Oaklawn.
We'll see you then.
We're done. Have a great day.
Almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.